Akasha had survived. The untold story of Lestat and the Queen of the Damned before modern cities filled the night with electric lights. The world feared something else, the dark, and within that darkness ancient beings ruled. Among them was the first and most powerful of all vampires, Akasha, the Queen. For thousands of years she slept, her body preserved like a dark goddess inside a hidden sanctuary. Beside her rested her king, Immortal. Together they were the origins of the vampire race. Every vampire who ever existed was connected to them, and when the queen slept, the entire vampire world remained quiet. But centuries later, a restless vampire changed everything. His name was Lestat. Unlike other vampires who hid in shadows, Lestat loved the modern world. Music, fame, rebellion, he embraced them all. Instead of hiding, he became a rock star, performing before thousands of humans. His music echoed across the planet. But Lestat didn't know something terrifying. The sound of his voice was awakening the queen. Deep in her stone chamber, Akasha opened her eyes for the first time in millennia. The music of Lestat had stirred her ancient blood, curious, powerful, and hungry. One night, she appeared before him. Lestat had faced many dangers before, but nothing like her. She was not simply a vampire. She was something older, something closer to a goddess. Akasha studied him with fascination. Lestat was different from the other vampires she had known. He was bold, fearless, even reckless, and he was not afraid of her. Instead of destroying him, she chose something unexpected. She chose him. Akasha believed the world had become weak and corrupt. Humanity, in her eyes, had lost control. War, cruelty, and chaos ruled everywhere, so she decided to rebuild it. Her plan was simple and terrifying. She would destroy most of the world's men and create a new civilization ruled by women, with herself as its queen. And beside her would stand Lestat. At first, Lestat was mesmerized by her power. Together, they traveled through the night like unstoppable predators. Cities trembled in their wake as they hunted, feeding on those Akasha judged guilty or corrupt. To humans, they were monsters. To each other, they were something else, partners. Akasha had lived for thousands of years, yet for the first time she felt something close to companionship. Lestat challenged her, he questioned her, he even made her laugh. But as the nights passed, Lestat began to realize something terrifying. Akasha's vision for the world meant endless death. Millions would die if her plan succeeded. Other ancient vampires soon gathered to stop her. They feared that if Akasha continued, the entire balance of the vampire world would collapse. A confrontation was inevitable. In the original fate of events, Akasha would eventually fall. But imagine if that moment had changed. Imagine if the queen had survived. In this version of the story, when the ancient vampires attacked, Lestat stood beside her instead of against her. The battle was brutal. Old vampires who had lived for centuries were destroyed in moments by Akasha's unimaginable power. One by one they fell. When the night ended, only silence remained. Akasha had won. The Queen of the Damned was still alive, and Lestat stood beside her. But something had changed. Instead of destroying humanity, immediately, Akasha began to listen to Lestat. He convinced her that ruling the world required patience, not slaughter. So the queen chose a different path. From the shadows, she and Lestat began shaping the world slowly. Empires rose and fell under their unseen influence. Kings, presidents, and powerful leaders never realized they were being guided by two ancient predators watching from the darkness. For centuries they hunted together, lovers bound by blood and immortality. Some nights they were ruthless killers. Other nights they simply watched humanity from rooftops and empty streets. The world never knew the truth, that somewhere in the darkness, the Queen of the Damned still walked the earth, and beside her was the vampire who had awakened her, Lestat.